Good evening. Welcome to another session. This is HTML 105. And in today's lesson, we will be reviewing what HTML5 is all about. And that is background images and link. Background images, and links. That's what we'll be covering in today's class. So one of the questions that came in is how to bring in images, how to properly bring in images from the web and locate it on your system. So this is really more of like a user issue, so to say, not really related to programming, but that's fine. We're going to trash it out just in a minute. So how do we go ahead and do that? I'm going to make my screen visible right now. So first of all, we want to bring in image to a project that we're doing. There are various forms of images, how you can make use of image. Two forms, literally. The first form is making use of it as a background. Second form is making use of it as a whole, as it is. So image can come in as a background or it can come in as a whole. Let's go ahead and search for image on the web. So we're using this method because most times you will be sorting out image on the web to do a particular thing, or you can actually have the file. Maybe your friend sends you a picture or your client sends you a logo to be added to your site. So anyhow that those image gets to you, the shard needs to get to you at some point. So the example we're using is we're assuming that image is online. So right now I'm just going to go to search for, let's say, process guide logo. Let's see if we get something out of it. Okay, I'm not liking the images that is coming up, but let me see if I'll get some clean images. This one is coming from YouTube. Let me see. Okay, let me use this YouTube image, right? Now, once you have this image, what you can do next is for you to, you can click, and obviously it's going to give you a detailed view of that image. You can see the resolution and what have you. So this is not really anything to do with, what we are teaching you, but it's a skill that you need to have. You need to be able to pinpoint the image and save it. It's a good thing that it's a very big image. You can see the resolution of the image. This is 10,000 by 175. So we're going to use it across our page as it is like that. I'm going to right click. So if I right click, it gives me some information, even though you can't see the right click right now. But when you right click, you will get some info on your page image here, and I can say save image as. Once I click save image as, I'll be presented with a dialog box. That is where your image will be. That's where you're going to search it from. If you save it in the wrong place, there's no way you're going to see that image. And that's the problem you are facing currently. Maybe you saved it in a place that you didn't take note of. When you are saving it, take note of that information. This on downloads, and look at the name channel4_banner.png under downloads, and I save it right there. And we are done. We've sorted our image out. We are good to go. The next thing is to go to our code. Page. The next thing we want to do is that we want to bring the images or the image that we downloaded online inside our Explorer section. Note what is going on here, guys. This is where all your files are. And the last thing we did Arsenal and Chelsea. You remember, guys, in the previous class. So we're able to bring these two images there. So one of your major concern was that you couldn't find your file, and the reason was you did not know where you saved it. So when you tried again, when you are saving, make note of where you saved it to, so that when you are going back, you will be able to know where it is. So currently mine is in download and I'm dragging it. You literally have to drag it. So you can see on the screen now that I'm dragging something, and as you can see is allowing me to want to put it anywhere I want, but we need to put it where? In the Explorer section. That's why I open up the Explorer on the left hand side so that I can bring it there. So immediately it comes in there, it sits right in there. I'm going to rename it to something that is easy for me to type. I don't want to use this long guy, so I just want to call it something that relates with what it is we are doing. So for now, I'm just going to give it banner. I'm going to give it banner. So this is how to bring the image in, and that should, pretty work well with whatever you are doing. So let's go ahead and talk about today's class or today's review. Again, this class is also simple, not too far-fetched. And let's start addressing the elephant in the room. That's background image. How do you do background image? So I'll call this background image. So we have our H1, which is title. I'm gonna change. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this one like this. But the idea of a background image is, just listen to what it says, is setting an image as a background of an element. That is what it is, guys. Very simple. I'll repeat that again. Setting an image as a background of an element. So in this case, you might want to say, H1 is an element. I would like something to be the background, Wouldn't it be nice if you have like a fancy background at the back of, a football score? Normally, what you will do if you are using style is to do, before we know length about background image, you could do background color and you will say red, which is okay. But you want to get fancy, and that's why you are opting for background image. You want something nice. You don't just want static colors. You want images, fun images. So how do we bring that images in? And that will introduce us to new attributes and new properties, which by now I'm sure you guys have gone through it and they are well understood. So the first one is background image. This is how you bring the image inside the background image. Remember, your image have to be sitting right in here. And once they are sitting right in here, you can always reference to it using background image. So once they are there, the next thing you do is do your URL. URL is a way for you to, URL means universal resource, locator, where as in it brings in any image, and you can bring images online or images on your local directory. That's your local folder. You can refer to images here on your local system, or you refer to images on the internet. Okay, so next thing you do is you provide a quote like this, a single quote. You can't use double quote again because double quote has been used outside. The next thing is to use a single quote. I like to break it like this, but every time we break it like this, Prettier always turn it back because we don't have enough property for now. So how do you bring in your image? Very simple, just type in your image directly. And our image is called banner, and good enough is bringing it for us as you type it. Now, there's other things that you need to worry about here. How you source the image or how you locate the image is very important. The image was easily located because it's available in the root directory of your project. The image was easily accessible because it's located in the root directory. In the future, you'll be having folders, special folders to keep resources. And those folders, most times they are called assets, or you can just call it img to denote image. And this is to make your project clean, right? So that you can have all images sit in one place, all files, all HTML files sit in one place, all CSS sits in one place, like that. Makes everything, clean. You can imagine in a website where you have several images, all of them will not just be sitting on your root directory. So the best thing is for them to be where inside one single folder, which you can still further, organize. But for now, let's put everything in one single folder. And you can see the way I'm doing it. I'm just dragging and drop, nothing so special. This is just me using window effect to do. Just drag and drop everything in there. Immediately you do that, well, the Visual Studio Code can update your code for you, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's trying to tell me that, hey, something is about to go wrong here. This tree image I've used somewhere, and I'm sure it's going to try and fix it for us if it can. But let's see if it will. So I say move. Automatically I move it. Unfortunately, it couldn't align our image back, which is fine. Don't worry, we're gonna do that, and that's gonna be a way for us to see how this thing works. So look at how our image is now, where they are now. Our image is inside images, as root directory, images / the name of the images. So let's go back to our code, and we all know where all our images were referenced. The first one is a background image, which now is not in our root directory anymore. It's inside an img folder before we now get to it. So because it's inside a file first, you have to first start with that file that is inside, which is img. And how do you get to deep? You can see that this guy is even helping us out already. Immediately you type img, the Visual Studio Codes try to, tell you something about that, hey, I can actually see that there's an IMG folder. It doesn't know if that folder contains image or not. It's just doing what it thinks is smart. If you type old, you can see that there's a folder called old. That's where I put all our old projects that we've worked it, before now. So let's go ahead with our IMG. And immediately you do /, because that's a way for you to enter into the folder. Once you do IMG /, you can see other things inside that folder. And that fixed that. Now, if you look at this looks clean this way. This looks clean when you have something like this. It makes it clean to look like, and your file and folder are properly organized. We do the same thing to other images. Look at this guy, the Chelsea. We just do our images, IMG /Chelsea, and that is fixed. The same thing with Arsenal, IMG /Arsenal. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about other properties that background has to offer. This class is pretty straightforward. No too much big deal in the class. Okay, I want to talk about what you can see what these images has done. The background, we know how the true image look like. You also sometimes need to see the true image. Whenever we are working with background, you need to have the perspective of what the original image looks like and how it's showing in your background. That will help you to determine what is going on. So for you, this might be okay, or you might just be okay with this. It depends on what you are trying to achieve. But I think this background can actually, be fleshed out more inside here. And one of the reasons why it's limited to the height and to the height of what it is because it's consuming the height available by the element. The element is only limited to what it can see. Obviously, you can see that the element is this high. So it can't stretch to the content of the background. That's not the way it works. It's stretched to the element that it can occupy. So you can force the element to increase more height, to have more height with other parameter, even though we've not done those things before. I've not taught you other features that will allow you to do that. So in order not to go ahead of the class, I will use manual way to increase the height. I'll use what? Manual way to increase the class. I don't want to introduce something I've not taught you. So one of the ways I can use to increase the class, you can see that when I'm pressing enter, it's not, budging. So I can use BR. BR will artificially create a space or carriage return on the top. You can see the way I made this guy bigger by increasing in BR, which is line break. And I can do the same thing at the end. And it will give it that illusion of that fill. One didn't do it, I have to do two. So one didn't do it, I did two. So this is looking good, even though I think the first one is okay like this, because I didn't like the fact that we have this logo showing. You're not trying to show off this line, you're just trying to show the effect of the background. Another thing again you can do to bypass these, which I've taught you is safe to use. I think I mentioned line height at some point. You can actually specify the height of the text. You see this text? It has a property called line height. I think we did that in text formatting. So we can hack that and use it to increase the line height of the text. That way it will look as if the text is very big. So let's quickly do like 50. So 50 looks so small. Let's do 100. So you can see, guys, what I'm trying to say. So this is what line height does. If you highlight on it, it says the height of the line is this big. That's what it does. So I'm going to reduce it a little bit so that we can have something perfect that will remove the process guide section there. Remember, we just went online to just pick a random image. So this was not a really thought out, project or something. So if you are doing your own project, you will want to have, a nice background that will really make sense of what you're trying to do. So you can even put this, in the middle or something. And I'm sure we know how to align text in the middle, and that's using text align. We can do center, and we have this wonderful stuff. Because we want to make it more beautiful, we can make the color white. Yeah, I think it's looking good like this. Football score, and we are good. And we can go ahead and change the font. I think I've taught you guys that before. Font family. I don't know if this font is gonna look good. I think that was not looking bad. Font. Let me see this guy. Okay, we can do this. But let me change that for audio fonts in the whole application. Yeah. That you guys should take note of, and it's very important. And I've not mentioned this before. I want you guys to start designing your profile page. I want you guys to start designing your profile page. If you have any project you want to do, let me know so that you'll be designing your profile page from now on. What that means is that you will need to create a separate project. This is a testing ground. You should have a testing ground where you test all the things you are doing. Your concept, any new concept, you should have a testing ground to test your new concept or what you've learned for the first time. So you should also have another project which is going to be your final year project, or your project that denotes that, hey, you are done with this class or you've learned this. And that project by default is supposed to show your profile page. If you have any business you want to run, like maybe you run an hotel and you want to create an hotel website, this is a good platform for you to start that. If you have any project you want to do, but if you don't have anything you're looking forward to, please start a profile page project. Very important. So every topic we cover, I will give you some things to go and do from now on. Start working on that, because this is an example of setting up a banner on a website. This is what we call a banner. A banner is more of like what introduce people to the things you are trying to pay attention to, you want them to pay attention to, or the first thing they see. So website has structure. We're going to get that down the line and explain all those things later on. So I want this class, or this session of this class, to be able for you guys to be able to do your projects from the early stage. Have that mindset, so that even if we're not giving you assignment, you know that, hey, you need to go and add this thing on your own site. You need to add this link on your own site. So I also talked about links. So by the time we'll be having links on your page, you should know how those links are going to affect your own website or your own profile page. So what I'm doing is to also encourage you. I will also be doing a demo profile page as well. I'll be doing that alongside you guys, so that to give you inspiration of what it is we are doing. Profile page just shows what it is that you've learned or what you are capable of at the moment, to show your skills and what have you. It's pretty simple. It says your name, what you are doing, about you, all the features, all the tools and what you think you bring to the table and what have you. So I will show you guys example over time. So I would like you guys to take that serious, please.